see the finishes, but that's okay. Tyler Reddick is my favorite. Tyler Reddick. Welcome everybody to episode 3 of the NASCAR Stop Motion Podcast, featuring me and
Yeti got the race.
Yeah, we're back. I know this was supposed to be almost weekly, but we're kind of doing it whatever we feel like.
Yeah.
And today's topic is going to be about the NASCAR Stop Motion track. But before we get into that, we both happened to go to this past weekend's NASCAR race.
I also went to Sonoma, so we could probably talk about that too.
Yeah, we could talk about. So what was Sonoma like?
Sonoma, it was actually like really cold. Like the wind made it severely cold.
Yeah.
Like, it was chilly there in California, but then right at about the time the Xfinity cars started getting rolled out, everything started to get way warmer. Like the wind completely died down and everything, and then it was just like wow.
Yeah.
And it just felt amazing. One thing that really affected, so we were there with the company Brandt, which is Justin Allgaier's sponsor.
Yeah.
That's what we went to Iowa with, but so we got everybody got radios so we could hear what Allgaier and the crew were saying.
Yeah.
And the thing Allgaier was complaining about was his left rear tire, because that tire, and the picture had reported that there was 3-inch blisters on the tires, and everyone around them had worse blisters.
That's interesting.
So it wasn't a great day for Allgaier, sadly.
Yeah.
Because he was feeling super confident too.
Yeah.
But hey, at least Ty Gibbs wrecked in that race, which made everybody super happy this week.
Yeah. So, what was Iowa like for you then?
Iowa, we got there. It was crazy. It was a day trip for me because I just went to Xfinity. I know you went to Cup as well.
Yeah, I'll talk about Cup. Yeah. And ARCA. I went to ARCA too.
Oh, you did? Nice. But, so we left for Iowa and stuff.
Yeah.
Just casual. And the nice thing about the FBO, aka basically like the airport building.
Yeah.
For private jets and stuff.
Yeah.
Is it was like right next to the track. Like literally the taxiway for the runway was right next to the like the fan section where people were tailgating and had their tents up.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I saw that.
Right there. Which was pretty cool. We saw a bunch of the drivers' jets.
Yeah.
Like Childress Racing, Denny Hamlin Racing. When we were leaving, we saw Dale Jr.'s jet.
That's awesome.
Rick Ware Racing jet.
That's really cool.
So those were some cool things to see. But another thing that Allgaier said was when he came into the suite, because for all the times that Brent is there and like they're on the suite and stuff, he always comes up and talks about like what's gonna happen, what you should see in the race and all that.
Yeah.
And one thing he said was with the new repave, he said if it gets sunny, the tires are going to burn like crazy. Yeah. He said he was hoping it would stay cloudy because then the tires wouldn't wear off as much. But, the sun decided to come out right as Xfinity was preparing.
Yeah.
Totally fun.
It was very... And the sad thing, I saw that he blew a tire in turn 4.
Yeah, that sucked. We left right after that. But the nice thing about where our suite was was we could go to those little side like rooftop parts
Yeah.
that they had. We could go on those and watch from there.
That's cool.
And literally anywhere at the track, you can see all the way around. Unless you're like in the very front row, then you can't see fully around, but you can pretty much see everywhere around it.
Yeah.
Like you can see the turns clearly, but I think Iowa was just such a good race, Xfinity wise.
Yeah.
Like it depended so much on strategy.
Yeah.
But one thing Allgaier was complaining about again was the tires.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing as Sonoma, and that's because of a new replay. Sonoma shredded tires. You know what happened at Iowa? Shredded tires.
Yep.
So that was
Some other comments I have is that the fan experience was really fun. There was like a lot of fun stuff that fans could do whenever they were waiting around. You weren't ever really bored at the track, which was really nice.
Yeah, but one thing that kind of was weird to me was the fact that you had to like go back in through security to go like the merch haulers.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
That was so weird.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shoot, because me and you were supposed to meet up.
Yeah, I wish I tried so hard.
But that's another thing to talk about. The NASCAR Iowa race. I haven't watched it yet.
I have not either. I have not watched it either.
Oh, so we'll have to come back. We might have to do a part 2 for this episode.
How about we just watch it right now? I'm kidding.
Okay.
We could. I mean, should we?
Let's do it.
Why not? I'll pull it up and share my screen with you. And I'll make sure to put the video right here. Or I could just put it on the screen. So one thing I want to know is how does NASCAR get so many dang views, and then I'm just stuck here getting nothing, and you're not getting any views.
Well,
my thumbnail was not that bad.
Las Vegas race, 800 views, right? So
mine is at 800 views too. Mr. Miller Lite Racing Series, who's done like 6 races already, or something crazy like that. 1.1 thousand views? How does he do this? Like, the thumbnail's good. The thumbnail's good, but there's no way he gets all those views just on the thumbnail.
yeah.
You know what? I don't care if there's copyright. I'm just gonna share my screen with you. Share your screen. Here we go. Go live. You can see my screen here.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. I'm also gonna try to get it to be shown on OBS. Yes, right here. Now you can see, so my future me doesn't have to download the video again. We're gonna watch this together here, me and Yeti. So here we go. You ready? Here we go.
First thing I'm gonna recommend, background noise. You gotta have like background music or
Yeah.
the sound behind you.
I like the 51, how it looks like back in the old Start Park days. That's honestly pretty cool.
Yeah, that is really cool.
One thing I wish he added was a quick repave of the track. Like adding the little black. I don't know if maybe he started filming this before they announced the repave or something.
Yeah, well, because the repave was only done like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, maybe that was way too late then.
It's a new repave.
You know, the track is pretty good overall though. Speaking of tracks, that's what this episode is about. So yeah, we can talk about the track. You see the dotted lines are really good here too.
Yeah.
The walls are nice and smooth. Something I struggle with when I cut out the poster board for my walls, it gets a little jagged on the ends of it, so it's not as smooth as these.
I always It's like a not very simple and good one. You take a stand.
I didn't know East Coast had a beard. Alright. This guy's a W man. I'm gonna be watching out for Denny Hamlin too.
Yeah.
I think the screen's a little messed up. Sorry, future me. I have to finish this. I have to fix up this little thing here. Yep, New Hampshire. Guess who's making this? The same guy that makes this one.
No.
Yeah, Miller Lite is also making New Hampshire. He's made quite a bit. So the national anthem is here. A moment of silence. It's a pretty good race. I'm gonna skip forward a little bit so we can get a nice view of the track again.
Definitely. The front stretch looked really good.
The front stretch does look really good. He had a little picture of this flyover here. That's pretty cool. This little video. Something they didn't do at the Cup race is have a flyover in the Cup race at Iowa, which I thought was kind of weird.
I think that was kind of hard to do with how many. Because it would have been a long flight.
Okay, Denny Hamlin on pole. That's pretty good. Here's your starting lineup, everybody. I'm sure you don't really need to see this. Here's the actual race. So here is your little stats here. Here we go, guys. Oh, if I skipped the start. I can't skip the start. Here we go. Is it still working good?
Yeah, it's working good.
Okay.
Okay, definitely gotta keep the car moving.
A crash on lap 2. That's fine, I guess, but I wish it was bigger so I could use it in my compilation.
Yeah.
I think I heard that there was a flip in this race just because I was scrolling through NASCAR messages. I think I saw. Maybe, I don't know though. We'll see. I would definitely, yeah, the background noise, you should add some, maybe some music or something. So the stage is over. The font, that's interesting, but that's alright. Looks fine. I'd say maybe a little more consistent with the font, because they're all different size names. Denny winning a stage is pretty... I like it. Hamlin going on the outside. So he's just screwing Denny over here. I see what you're doing, Miller Lite. I don't know how good you make the outside in this race. We'll see what happens. I think this is one of his commercials that he made. So, having some commercials, that's okay. Most people put commercials in their races.
Yeah.
But I would recommend maybe a little bit of music on this one. Anyone letting me... How do I miss every restart? Goodness. Okay, here we go. I would say maybe be a little more stable with the tripod pictures. That seems to be a little wobbly. You know, this has been pretty good so far. Oh, and they're wrecking. That was a pretty decent wreck, honestly. That wasn't that bad.
Good. And you should keep the forward sliding like 70 screens. Like he did a little. He did with the 15 would be good.
Yeah. I want to see a Justin Haley win. So Denny still got some points. I'll give you. I'm very critical. I think he spelled Reddick with 2 B's instead of 2 D's. Tyler Rebick. Is it still working good?
Yeah.
I'm worried because I've had a bad history with screen share. East Coast commercial.
Ready?
Okay, now I didn't miss the restart this time. Back to the green. 4 laps in the final stage is pretty. It's good length. 4 each stage is good. If we did all this work to see a Larson win, I'm. They're still side by side. That's pretty good. Now taking a look at this track again, it's really smooth, and you don't see any of like bad areas. It's pretty smooth paint.
That's the problem in the track.
Oh my gosh, they did flip.
Oh gosh.
No, another race under caution? No! We had Kyle Larson actually win. Save to watch later. Gonna add that to my compilation. Are you kidding me, Miller Lite?
Wait, go back up and see the replay.
Oh yeah, my bad, my bad.
Oh wow. That was really impressive.
That's what I did. This is like almost what I did with Alex Bowman at Texas. How he hit the wall and that's what caused it to flip him. I really don't like when the stop motion's under caution. I like to see the finishes, but you know, that's okay. Tyler Rebick is my favorite. Tyler Rebick. Well, this can segue us into our next topic of NASCAR stop motion tracks. So NASCAR stop motion tracks, obviously if you're going to make stop motions, you're going to need a track to film it on. So a lot of people are very creative with their tracks and they make a lot of good ones.
Yep, this is very true.
Yeah. But then also, as people recreate real tracks, they also make their own tracks called fantasy tracks. And we'll put a couple pictures up here, such as Miss Craft's West Wave track, which is my favorite fantasy track. Then you also have Last Lap Racing Network's Southern Florida Dirt track. It was really cool. So you have those fantasy tracks, and those fantasy tracks, it's just cool to have because you can just do whatever you want with it, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that is really cool.
You just get to let your imagination run free with those tracks.
Yeah, for sure. This is great.
It is great.
I'm filming on a new track right now, aka Sonoma.
And then after you have the fantasy tracks, There's also, so back in the beginning of NASCAR stop motion, you know, they didn't have, I mean, they had the resources to make big tracks, but it wasn't really popular that you would make a giant track or a big, like, track. So a lot of people, they would have these tracks like Eric Estep and, you know, Aflac Cup Series. They had some simple tracks, nice simple tracks that they would make, where ACS would have some of his tracks on carpet and slot car tracks, and Eric E-Steps were a bunch of wooden pieces that he'd put together. I'm not saying they're bad, but this is just how the track started, so that's a cool origination of how NASCAR stop motion tracks began.
Yeah.
I'll put a couple pictures on screen of, like, the tracks that they would use.
Well, and some people get creative too. Like if they don't have the materials, then they use things like Jenga blocks, which I've used before.
Yeah, Jenga blocks. You see a lot of Jenga blocks tracks. Like Bryce's Castrol Cup Series, I think it is, or whatever. It's close to that. I'll put a picture of his. He had a Martinsville track with some Jenga blocks. So I'll put that up on screen. And
one of Rob Martinsville races, he used Jenga blocks for the walls.
That's really cool. It's cool because without these tracks, I don't think anybody would even be able to. I mean, we did see Under Armour Cup Series. I don't know if you know him, but he made, like, it was there. He made these videos like 9 years ago, and he still had amazing tracks that could compete with tracks today, and it was crazy.
Yeah, film on the diecast moving in the background.
That's alright.
Moving.
So, Under Armour Cup Series, he had banking and like safer barrier and all those little details that you can add into the tracks, and that moves us on to the newer tracks of today, where people have found out all the details you can put into a track, such as the safer barrier, sometimes even curbing or the catch fence, which really adds a lot to the feeling of the track.
I'm gonna be adding tire barriers.
Yeah, the tire barriers at some tracks, those are awesome. Just all the little details you can add. I'm gonna put some pictures from MLCS's Eldora, because he made his incredible. And then you can also put like the little decals or stickers from the real track. You can like print them off and stick them to your track that you make yourself. It just adds, when people do that and put all the work in it, it's really nice to see the finished product. Same with East Coast had his Nashville track, which was really cool. You might as well
working on it's also gonna be one of my best, actually.
That's nice. We might as well also mention Gavin Beer's Pocono. Everybody has to know that track at this point. If you don't, I'm gonna put a picture up already, or you could just go to one of my recent videos, Top 10 NASCAR Stop Motion Tracks, which ties into this, which is why I'm doing this podcast episode on it.
Yep.
That track has every possible detail. It's almost perfectly to scale.
Well, if it was perfectly to scale, it would have to be. I remember I did the math once. I wanted to do a full scale, like a scale Daytona.
Oh yeah.
And I just did the math, and it was like one of the measurements would have to be like 64 feet.
Holy crap! Never mind.
In length. And that's just for the track surface.
That's
like,
wild.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. There's a bee outside my window pollinating a little flower. Anyway, so I'll put some more pictures here of the new tracks that people have done and like the little details that they would add into those tracks. And when you're making stop motions, the tracks can carry the video. Like if you have a nice track that people can look at, it really helps the video.
Once I'm done filming this little snippet, I'll put it together and then I'll send it to you, and then you can put that in the video too.
Okay.
Just for a sneak peek at something.
Yeah.
I mean, and the ways people make tracks with like, I mean, I've figured out a way to do it too, but with like these smaller boards. I mean, this board is only 5 feet by 40 inches, which seems huge, which it kind of is, but like compared to other tracks, it's tiny.
Yeah, I use like 2 feet by 1.5 feet poster boards for my track. Most of my tracks. And even my newest little track here is maybe like 1.33 feet by 1 foot little box thing. So I use really small tracks. And I also have a ton of fantasy tracks. Most of my tracks in my videos are fantasy tracks. Like the FedEx Motorplex, Milk Coliseum, the street course that I didn't name. I make a lot of fantasy tracks. San Francisco.
Yeah.
So all these tracks, and I wasn't that good at YouTube and stop motions yet, so I didn't have as many details as other people would have, but you know, I think it was still fun to just let your imagination let loose and just do whatever you want with your stop motion tracks.
Yeah, for sure.
And then another detail we can talk about is like the darker areas of like the preferred line that people can add sometimes. That's really nice.
Yeah, I did that with River Valley.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And I mentioned it earlier, MLCS's Eldora, which can bring us to dirt tracks. People have gotten so good at making tracks that they just started making dirt tracks. The first that I know was Erica Steps Eldora, which I can put a picture of on the screen now. But then
that was more like crafting dirt, though. That wasn't like legit dirt.
Yeah, but it was like the first like dirt track that was making fun of racing. Yeah. Then I think one of the first tracks that used like real dirt that was in an actual race was Misscraft's Bristol Dirt.
Yup.
Wait, no, he made a Charlotte dirt track one time.
I don't think that was actual dirt.
Maybe I think that, but it wasn't actual dirt, but it was another dirt track. So that his second dirt track was with the first one with real dirt, Bristol Dirt, which was amazing.
Yeah.
And then other details I've started to see from people making tracks is adding buildings and stands. And then sometimes even the people, like the 164 people, into the tracks. So people are just getting insane with these tracks.
Who's the one guy that's making that Martinsville? We need pictures of that in this video.
Oh yes, I'll put pictures in that video. That is really, really good. I'll put pictures. I'm gonna go find it. He has like a Donald Trump POV or something. Or profile. BFP.
It's like a Donald Trump or something.
Yeah. What is that? Here it is. Fonald G. Hump. Need to find has image. So here are so his track I'm gonna put pictures of right now has actual stands, actual grass. I think pretty sure he added actual maybe some curbs onto it. He has the details on the walls, he has the campers, he has the trees, and the details on the track of like the darker areas where the preferred line is and all that. And everything about that track is amazing. I'll put all the little pictures up there of all of them. So NASCAR tracks can be really, really interesting. And with how good people have gotten with the NASCAR stop motion tracks, just makes it incredible to see some of these stop motion races.
Yeah.
So NASCAR, you can speak.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm like thinking of this out of my face. Man, I made this Sonoma track in literally a day.
Yeah.
Well, I drew it out and I painted it all in one day.
Yeah.
I mean, I made, if you want to put, but you don't have to, but I made River Valley. I made it, I painted it all in 50.
Oh. Yeah.
Like, and that's including the breaks. The total time I worked on it, oh, probably like 4 hours, if even
Wow.
that.
One more track I want to talk about really quick, since you had talked about your River Valley track. My Christmas Clash track from last year, it's Christmas, with my snow, so they were drifting on snow, which was really cool. Like, and I had them, it was like they were drifting on it. They weren't just like driving on it and taking the turns normally. I had them drifting on it like a dirt track, but with snow.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. I had some cars get stuck under like the snow walls I had. It was really cool. I'll put a picture of that because that was really cool. And I had trees in the background. The trees on the track were really cool because I made it like the background was like a winter forest. That was really cool.
Yeah. I'm making Harrison Burton spin this little clip. He's gonna spin like completely like off camera.
Okay. So, in conclusion, NASCAR stop motion tracks are obviously they are essential for making a NASCAR stop motion. Even if it's just your carpet with some popsicle sticks, it's something. Or Jenga blocks, it's something. And just the way that tracks have evolved from being like the Jenga blocks to having some people have all the resources to be able to make these almost perfectly looking tracks that look almost exactly like what the real counterpart looks like. So these people were just able to advance, and then these tracks just have gotten so much better, and they just make these videos. Stop motion, NASCAR stop motion has just evolved so much, and a big chunk of that has got to go to the NASCAR stop motion tracks.
Yep.
Any closing comments, Yeti?
Well, I think for the younger creators that are just starting, let your creativity run wild when it comes to making your tracks.
Yes.
Like, there is so much potential with our minds. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I encourage you just to let your creativity run free.
Yeah. So, these NASCAR stop motion tracks, as we kept saying, are amazing, and you can do whatever you want with your track sometimes, like fantasy tracks. So, go out there, if you want to make stop motions, make whatever track you want, and have fun with it. Thank you all for watching and listening to our podcast today. I don't really know when this is going to come out, probably going to be a while. It's almost been another month since our last video of the podcast.
So we're basically just doing these monthly now.
Yeah, just expect another episode in July.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool though, we have our monthly little visit.
Yeah, for sure.
So, thank you all for watching. I'm going to end the clip with a little clip from last episode of my cat meowing. This is Milk, and
Yeti.
signing off. We'll see you next time.
Peace.